There are indications that it's made in zero gravity.
Yeah.
It's Bigelow's interest in the space program. He figured if you could eventually have a factory in space, you could make this stuff, these kinds of metamaterials, drugs, things that you can't manufacture here. We could make them up in space. That's why they believe that some of these materials came from somewhere else because we don't have any factories in space that can make that stuff.
That is actually an interesting thing. Is like what would be the difference in building materials in a zero gravity environment when you're looking to perfectly align atoms?
Right.
Right. Because
is that just our own limitations of what we understand of technology, and is it possible that they figured out how to do it even with gravity?
Maybe
Yeah,
by
yeah,
now.
right.
I haven't seen evidence of it, but yeah, maybe.
But it seems like it's so outside of our understanding already.
Well, we didn't have it in 1947, that's for sure.
For sure.
Well,
right.
and-
Is that what where this stuff is supposed to?
Some of it, yeah.
Some of it.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe they think also that it's not just the layering, the metamaterials that give it unique properties, like because the skin of the craft itself, when you talk to some of these military people that had like real close encounter and they saw it, they often say, I can't, if I had a nickel for every time someone said this to me, it had this golden hue like I've never seen before. It was undulating, as if it was, I know this sounds weird, Jeremy, but as if it was intelligent in some way. So the idea that has been impressed upon me is that however these things are built, that it's not only seamless, but it's integrated in a way where the technology itself is like to amplify gravity waves, whatever Bob said it did off of Element 115, that the actual physical structure itself has purpose other than just the way it layers for the skin. Does that make sense?
right.
Like the way it's an
I
integrated
see what you're saying.
machine.
Yeah.
That's what I'm told over
Well,
and
that
over.
that makes sense. Like we think of structure as only being structure because that's what we're capable of today. If you have a tank, the outside is just the structure. But what if the outside is actually a part of the thing itself and how
Yes.
it operates and moves?
Yeah, that's a lot that's been discussed. We've heard it a number of times that the possibility that we haven't been able to duplicate the technology because those beings are part of it, that it's part of the process, that somehow they can fly it and we can't.
Right, that there's a connection, like how we have a thumbprint on an iPhone. They have some connection to the
What
craft
kind of
itself.
controls are in these things, supposedly?
Depends who you ask, man.
What
You know,
does Bob say?
So
for
there was
his-
nothing,
yeah.
nothing, right? No
Yeah, yeah.
moving parts.
Yeah. So Bob's example on the one he saw, right, was that there was nothing. There were these little consoles, but there was nothing. There were just these rectangles sitting there. All three chairs were sitting in towards that center propulsion thing. I mean, there's way other stories of other people and what they've seen, but
But it
Bob.
makes sense. I mean, if you were operating it with an iPhone, you can operate a drone with an iPhone, right? Well, it makes sense if you are some sort of a cyborg that you have this capability embedded into your actual being.
Yeah,
sure.
And that they don't need any equipment. They just operate it. They just move it.
Yeah.
And it probably moves in some sort of a telepathic way with using whatever that thing is inside their fucking head. Boy, wouldn't you like to see that thing?
You're gonna get-
when you're talking about like autopsies, split open that melon. What the fuck's going on in there? I want to see that, man.
You're going to get into your Tesla, at one day, and your body's probably going to start that engine up.
Mine already works with my phone.
Yeah.
I don't even have my key on me. I use my phone. I get in my car with my phone. I get near it. It opens the door. It's wild.
There is a government program that studied this stuff, that studied metamaterials, that projected how far out into the future what we might be able to do at some point. It's OSAP. It's the program I told you about when I was here before. So 3 years ago or so when I was here, I told you that I showed you a couple of documents that were releasable. There are 100 reports that would probably be taller than me if you stack them up on end. The public has not seen one page of it. All that stuff that analyzed metamaterials, warp drive, things of that sort, really futuristic alien type stuff that was done for the DIA, for our government. Congress hasn't seen it. The public hasn't seen it. Media hasn't seen it. It was part of what we told Congress when we were there. Hey, you guys should go after this stuff because all that work was done. The taxpayers paid for it, and not one page of it's been released.
You tried to get some of that shit out.
Yeah. Tried.
Imagine if these beings that technology moves in these kind of exponential jumps. Imagine if these beings came in 1947. What do they have now? And are we getting their shit boxes? Are these like the old fucking rusted out 1971 Chevys that they
That's
just
why they're
left in the
crashing.
desert? I mean, I wonder. I mean, maybe the fucking aliens that come here are the Yahoos. You know, like I have that joke about Tijuana, that Earth is the Tijuana
Yes.
of outer space.